What is martial arts? What is combat sport? What is Bushido? Let's talk about it.
Renzo Rage.
Welcome my friend to Martial Talks. Today I'm talking of the differences between martial arts and combat sports and fake martial arts or Bushido. I'm going to classify a few martial arts according to my opinion and explain why it's like that. Again, it's my opinion and it's only my subjective view. You are welcome to see it differently than I do. Let's start with what martial arts actually are and what points we should pay attention to in order to see it as a martial art. Martial arts for me must fulfill the following things. It should have an important reason why it was developed, such as for self-defense, for military and war purposes, or for physical health. It should have a philosophy and a cultural and historical background and not only fulfill the physical aspects like fighting, but also mental and spiritual points. And fighting with melee weapons. A lot of traditional martial arts have techniques with weapons. The last point will be that it has movements or forms that are not really useful in combat but are there for traditional reasons. Let's move on combat sports. What points do I need to meet for it to be considered a combat sport? A lot of emphasis is placed on physical condition and fitness. You train in such a way you can take part in competitions. That means you learn the rules, only train what is effective or allowed in the ring, and leave out all movements that do not actively contribute to the fight. For me, combat sports are nothing more than competition and physical activity. Now let's look at what fake martial arts or Bushido is. For me, fake martial arts are something that is very far removed from real fights, always demonstrated by people who never really fought in their lives and watched too many animes. Fake martial arts are unrealistic and have absurd techniques or no techniques at all and are shown in an exaggerated way. Magic, chi powers or body manipulation is a big topic. All things that are far removed from reality. I have a left and right scheme here with the most important point on it for martial arts and combat sports. You might be surprised that it doesn't contain fake martial arts. Well, we get that to the end. For martial arts we have the traditional forms, historical background and philosophy, formalities, spirituality. For combat sports we have competition and rules, sparring, condition and endurance. Let's now take a look to the different martial arts and classify them into certain categories. Let's start with the traditional karate. I classify karate as a martial art. It meets all the criteria of a typical martial art. It has traditional forms such as kata, has a historical background, deals with the body and spirituality, and is of course intended for fighting and self-defense. This is the traditional old-style karate. The next thing will be boxing. For me, boxing is clearly combat sport. It has rules, there are fights in competition, sparring, and there is a lot of training for endurance and stamina. The same applies to kickboxing, MMA, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ. Kung Fu. For me, Kung Fu like Shaolin Kung Fu, Wing Chun, Tai Chi, Hung Gar or Drunken Boxing belongs in the martial arts category. But there's one exception for me and that will be Sanshu or Sanda. Chinese kickboxing belongs to sport. Sanda, which means freehand fighting, comes from traditional Wushu Kung Fu and it's a modern form of it and becomes a sport with rules and no traditional forms. So for me it falls into the combat sport category. Next one is Muay Thai! Muay Thai is special because it fulfills both aspects, the martial arts and combat sports aspects. Muay Thai is the modern form of Muay Boran and has developed over the time into a sport. Therefore does not have fixed forms like Muay Boran, but certain striking techniques in Muay Thai are formed from ancient Muay Boran and thus it has retained certain traditional movements. So Muay Thai belongs in the middle, but it is different with Muay Boran. For me, that belongs here under martial arts. Moiboran was used in war at the time, therefore also has weapon techniques, and with its traditional forms a strong connection to the culture and spirituality of the country. Let's continue with Capoeira. Capoeira is a Brazilian martial art, a fighting dance. Capoeira was practiced and developed during the colonial period in Brazil by slaves from Africa. There are two types of capoeira. The original style, which is the modern form with lots of acrobatics and amazing turns and spins. The one that is more familiar. And then there's the old style, the Angola capoeira, which places more on rhythm than acrobatics and fight closer to the ground. I consider itself capoeira to be a pure martial art. But you can also train it for capoeira competitions. But the way they fight, they keep the usual movements and don't reduce them so much to the most effective and keep their character. With the music and dancing and the historical background of slavery, they have the spirit and philosophy of freedom. That fulfills the point of the philosophy aspect. Therefore, for me, capoeira is more of a martial art. The next one will be Pencak Silat, an Indonesian and Malaysian martial art. Similar to capoeira, Silat also has competition where they maintain their traditional stance. They have a strong connection with nature and are also full of culture and spirituality. And they also have weapon techniques. Especially Silat practitioners really like the karambit knife. I also really like the karambit, it's really cool. Pencak Silat is martial art. Next one is sumo. Sumo wrestling matches were originally held in Japanese Shinto shrines in honor of the gods and later also at the imperial court because the emperor was also considered a god. It was not until the Edo period that sumo developed into a sport with set rules and quickly became Japan's national sport. An old Shinto purification ritual, cleaning the sumo rings with salt before the fight, is still carried out before the fights today. Sumo is therefore traditional and also recognized in sport. Sumo belongs in the middle. Now comes FMA, Filipino martial arts. Stick fighting like Kali, Eskrima and Arnis, with knives like Punyal, with swords like Tabak, or unarmed fighting like Panantukan, with fists or Sikaran Bam, with kicks. Many FMA techniques have figures and sequence of fighting movements and function similarly to karate with the kata. There are also competition in FMA, especially in stick fighting like Arnis or Kali or Eskrima. In the 16th century, the Filipino martial arts, which were originally only practiced by kings and lords, were already widespread. But the Spanish occupiers who colonized the Philippines soon realized the danger posed by the martial arts, began to make FMA, especially Arnis, unpopular and banned it altogether. It can be assumed that it became too dangerous for the Spanish to have every Filipino as a trained swordsman. Arnis continued to be practiced in secret and the fighting techniques were hidden in dance movements, a little bit like capoeira. FMA thus fulfills the philosophy of fighting and independence and has an important history of the Filipinos. It clearly belongs on the side of pure martial art. Letway. Letway was already a sport at that time. Letway is the martial art of the 9 limbs. Fists, leg, elbows, knees and headbutts are allowed. And you fight with bare fists and you only win a fight by knockout. Even if you are knocked out, the trainer has time to regenerate his fighter so that he can continue the fighting. Letway is the most brutal martial art and used in Myanmar as entertainment for all classes, whether kings or farmers. The traditional thing was the greeting Lekaman and the opening dance Letwaye. Letway is a martial art and at the same time a combat sport, and that's since in the beginning. Letway belongs in the middle. Next one is Krav Maga. Krav Maga is Israeli martial arts and self-defense, a mixture of different martial arts, mainly intended for self-defense on the street and not for the ring or competitions. But it has also no formalities or spirituality, nothing sacred. But I think I will make it more of a martial art, I guess. So let's do a quick round where I classify the remaining martial arts. Judo, traditional, competitions, formalities, in the middle. The same with Taekwondo, normal jiu-jitsu from Japan. It's the martial art of the samurai, so it's in the direction of martial art. The same with ninjutsu, the martial art of the ninjas. Aikido, forms, philosophy, traditional martial art. Indian martial arts, Kalari Payattu, martial art. Roman Greco wrestling, very long history, ancient martial art, in the middle, but in the direction of combat sport. I know there are so many more martial arts that I unfortunately can't review all of them in one video. But you can decide yourself which category martial arts you think belongs to. Now let's talk about fake martial arts or bullshido. For me personally, there is no such as fake martial arts. Just fake masters who wants to teach you things that are so absurd and telling you that works on the streets or in real fight. That is bullshido. And by that I mean like magic or chi powers. Don't get me wrong, there is such a thing as chi. It is nothing other than energy that flows within us. But using these chi powers in such a way that you don't even have to touch your opponent, there is no such thing. Or unusual training methods that can endanger your health or even your life is bullshido. For many people, for example, Wing Chun or Kung Fu in general is bullshido for them, because it doesn't work in the ring or in a real fight. The problem is, not all martial arts are made for the ring like boxing, MMA or kickboxing, but were designed to be able to defend yourself against regular people. It has not been proven over the years for nothing and has even been used in war. For bouncer, it is even better if they can do Wing Chun, Krav Maga or Jiu-Jitsu than Muay Thai or boxing, because they need techniques to make the opponent unable to fight but to harm them a little as possible. Otherwise you can be charged with serious bodily harm and have to pay a lot of money. Arm locks or levers are very helpful there. Techniques you can learn in Wing Chun or Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu or even Aikido. So that's it for the video. Write in the comments below what do you think of it, or how you would rate the martial arts. Don't forget to give a video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm Renzo and we'll see you next time. Wah, wah.